All right, everybody, we are live, episode 81 on the Real Kyper at Noon show. Welcome aboard. It's February 22nd, 2021, and we're glad you're here. And been a busy weekend. Of course, as many of you have noticed on our thumbnail, the outdoor game. They've had some great success over the years, over 30. And this was by far the most challenging, but should it have been? So we'll get into that and so much more. There's the Austin Powers, Matthews, 50 for 50. What a run he's had. It didn't slow down on the weekend. And we got Doug Maclean in the background already fooling around on his phone. We've got maybe some concerns in Calgary, Nashville, Buffalo with Eichel. We got into that a little bit last year. So there's a ton to talk about, including a developing story out of the New York Rangers. And we'll bring in Doug Maclean for that. Are you okay? Are you done searching your phone and interrupting my opening?
Well, I had a tomato sandwich, because 12 to 1 is my lunch hour, and it's when I do my show. But if you'll notice, I spilt the tomato sandwich on my shirt. Can you see?
Yes.
Yes, Doug. We can all see. It's very apparent. Yes.
You know, if someone doesn't have the volume up and they just saw that shot, they would have sworn that you pissed yourself. Can we see it one more time?
I try to eat before I have to go on live, but I had a little accident. So I try to, because I like to exercise, and I get in and I'm panicking to get the stuff set up, and I want to eat before, because I don't want to be hungry on the air. And tomato sandwiches are not easy to eat, as you know.
Speaking of not easy, Doug, could you adjust your camera down slightly towards the stain? Not quite in the stain, but yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it.
God, I don't know whether to get you a bib or a diaper. Either way, it is. It's looking a little
dicey,
childish. First of all, we missed you on Friday, but our thanks to Alan May. I don't know if Jordan told you, but I think we had about 250 likes. It was by far the biggest record we've ever had before.
The show was boring as hell. Oh shit! I spilled tomato on the carpet here too.
Jeez, you're a mess right now.
Jesus.
We're a mess.
Anyway, okay, yeah. So no, there's a lot going on today. Wow,
we do, and we've got a lot to talk about on the weekend. But Mac, it's Monday morning, and there's a developing story out of the New York Post. Larry Brooks, who does a terrific job, has just talked about earlier, within I guess an hour and a half, about Artemi Panarin, star player for the New York Rangers. Their prized free agent signing. Is now taking a leave of absence and stepping away in wake of an article that allegedly says out of Russia he beat up an 18-year-old girl in Russia in 2011. And I have yet to see that report or that story. Has anyone else, Jordan, have you found it? Anything you can shed light on that report?
So what we're seeing right now is the New York Post article. It's literally like 500 words. There's not much here. It has a former teammate of yours, Kip. I'm not going to try to pronounce his first name, but Nazarov was a head coach of Panarin's former team in 2011, made that claim, and now the Rangers came out and saying that that he is vehemently saying it's not true. This is the exact quote. Artemi vehemently and unequivocally denies any and all allegations in this fabricated story, the Rangers said in a statement. This is clearly an intimidation tactic being used against him for being outspoken on recent political events. Artemi is obviously shaken and concerned and will take some time away from the team. The Rangers fully support Artemi and will work with him to identify the source of these unfounded allegations.
And this is based on, as Jordan just mentioned, support for opposition leader Alexei Navalny. And I don't know how much everyone's up to speed on this whole story. I've kind of caught it a few times on 60 Minutes. And Mac, it's something out of like a movie script, you know, a James Bond. It's just some crazy stuff that we haven't really seen out of hockey, NHL. We've always known, Mac, and you've dealt with Russian federations and release forms and all of that over the years, but this is next level stuff.
You know what? I got a scare one time. I was at a World Junior tournament, and I was sitting at a bar in Czechoslovakia, and a couple of Russian guys were sitting off to me, and I was assistant GM of Detroit at the time, and a couple of guys, they looked at me at the bar and said, they would like to kill you in Russia. And I thought, I think that just said that I'm going up to my room.
Wow.
Because, you know what, that was at the time with the Russian players coming to Detroit. And it started with Fedorov defecting, then went to Kozlov, to Konstantinov, and on and on. And, you know, so I got a scare. So when I told you this story before, when we were dealing with getting Jaredev out of Russia, Jimmy Clark my assistant GM, he made all the trips to Russia. There's not a snowball's chance I was going over.
Wow.
So
Mac,
poor Jimmy. But anyway, look, this has gone on forever. It scares you. And for the Rangers to have to deal with this right now with their superstar, highest paid player, you feel for Panarin if in fact it is false. But this is bigger than this. The story is bad, whether it's fabricated or not. You don't ever like to hear that, obviously. But you know, if there's threats being made to him because of his political views, that's always frightening for an organization.
So, Mac, you're the New York Rangers. You get word of this, and I mean, where's your first phone call? What do you do? You're the president and GM of a hockey club, and you're hearing this about any player. It doesn't matter that it's your star player, any player. What do you do?
Your first call is to your security person that's involved with the team. That security person, and that call may go directly to the NHL, to the NHL security. Okay, we've got this situation. They've dealt with this in the past, the NHL office. All of a sudden, there would be a protocol put into place. Okay, what do we do with this scenario? What does the league recommend? What do the Rangers recommend? So that, in my opinion, that's what would happen right off the bat. Anytime you have a serious security issue, you go directly to the league, and they have, as you know, a security group in place.
Yeah. And my understanding is that if this has already hit the highest level.
Oh, I'm sure it has. Guaranteed.
Like, Mac, it's one thing to call your NHL security and inform the league. Now you're Gary Bettman, and where do your calls go now? FBI, the White House? Is this right to now new President Biden? I mean, is this where that level goes?
Look, the league would be, and I don't know if that's the case, but it would certainly go to the highest possible level that the league feels comfortable with going to. I mean, they would be very, very concerned about this, to say the least. So the Rangers will do the right thing. The league will do the right thing. And there will be certain protocols put into place. No doubt about it.
Yeah, well, this has rattled everybody in the hockey world. Panarin still has immediate family in Russia. There's a lot of concern there as we speak on it. Let's just hope.
I mean,
cooler heads can prevail here in all of this. And
we've heard in the past about attacks. Some NHL players with having to pay a tax. A Russian tax at times because of, a mob-related thing. I mean, have you ever heard of those sorts of things going on?
Out there, Mac. Those stories have been out there, but like anything else, I mean, what's true, what's not true, what's fabricated, what's exaggerated, and I mean, how willing is anybody to speak out. And that's the scary part for these guys, is if, we've now seen athletes go to next level stuff when it comes to, their beliefs and right with their politics. But, as an organization, do you really now truly understand what's at stake if you do that, and how deep it can go? And is it worth it for these guys to put their necks on the line if they feel like even their families are threatened? I feel so bad for these guys to even have to contemplate making a decision about speaking out publicly.
No, I agree. And I mean, look, I was with Sergei Fedorov for 7 years and 8 years of his career. And, he was one of the first to defect from Russia as a kid. I mean, the pressure on this guy, throughout his career, and he's back in Russia now, running a team. But, I can't imagine some of the stories that have gone on over the past 20 years. I really can't. This is something that you just hate to see.
Yeah. Jordan, just to, with your knowledge in other sports, is there anything out there in the last little while that kind of could compare to this type of scenario?
Yeah, we were talking about it pre-show. I actually just put the link in chat for everybody who's curious. But Enes Kanter, he's a center for the Trailblazers. He was on the Celtics when this was happened. Very, very outspoken against the Turkish government. Hito Turkoglu, Hall of Fame, I think, NBA player, was very outspoken in support of the Turkish government. And basically, Kanter hasn't seen his dad in 7 years. Over the past 2 years, his dad was accused of terroristic crimes, was put in jail without a trial. Trial kept on getting pushed back. And NBA and the UN tried to step in. And then just in July of this year, he was acquitted. So that's the kind of stuff that could happen here when we're dealing with stuff like this. So it's scary in a big way, man.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep an eye on this story. As it develops. Let's just hope, like I said, we're in a scenario where cooler heads can prevail all the way around, and we hope Panarin's safe. We hope his family's safe, and we can kind of figure this thing out, hopefully, as we move forward. But we'll keep an eye on it, and let's turn our attention a little bit to, I think, our thumbnail, which is the outdoor game. And we've watched these develop over the years, and no question that, from a national perspective, they've lost a little bit of their luster. There's no question when you deal within a certain region, everybody wants one. Everybody's fan base loves it. They're always sold out. They're always well received, but the shine is off it a little bit. And yet here we are, in the worst time ever, where the league has literally no fans, and yet we wanted to go down the path of one in Lake Tahoe, which, Mac, seemed like a decent idea for no other reason that it would be a spectacle, something nice to look at, something different to look at with no stands. But lo and behold, who could have pictured, who could have envisioned that Lake Tahoe, 6 feet above sea level, that, the sun would come out?
I don't want to laugh, but oh my God.
No, laugh. It's okay to laugh.
It was like, oh my God, did I just see the referee stumble? And did I see the play? Like,
Mac,
who did they check the day before at noon and see the sun's out? Well, I know it said it's going to be cloudy tomorrow, so I guess we can go at noon because it's going to be cloudy. Well, weather changes in the mountains fast, but all of a sudden their worst nightmare of a sunny day where goalies couldn't see the damn puck, players were stumbling around the ice. Thank God they canceled it.
It looked like a learn to skate program. I'm watching the linesman face plant.
I was expecting the chairs to come out and be pushing the chairs around the ice. Like, come on. But anyway, look, I felt for them, but they thank God they canceled. And then when they said it was coming on at midnight, I took a rain check on watching it. I decided I would I would not bother waking up at midnight to watch it. So, you know what? It turned out, I guess, fine, but.
Well, what's fine? What define
they
fine
got the game
for me?
In. They got the game in.
Mac, guess what? We could have built the same rink under the same lights in a Walmart parking lot, and it would have been fine, and we would have got the games in. And more importantly, I would have saved millions of dollars to everybody.
Oh my God. What did it cost to put that rink up there? But look, if they wanted to go to Alberta, to Lake Louise, to Banff, there was talk of a bubble being there. I guess it would have been cloudier there, but then you had the quarantine. I mean, look, it
has to be like, listen, is it picturesque? Yes, but it has to be more than just, an Instagram picture, or in your case, a Polaroid or a Kodak moment. It serves no purpose. The game served no purpose. Would you like, if anybody got anything out of it, it might have been a few people that watched and says, "Hey, we should go to we should go to Lake Tahoe." Well, yeah, that's great for the tourist industry for Lake Tahoe, but what the hell is it doing for the NHL and their growth?
Well, look, I guess the question I would ask is, was this strictly for NBC? I mean, did NBC, obviously, who wanted the game at noon in the first place? Probably NBC. The NHL probably went along with it. Was this NBC driven that they got caught up in this? I don't know. I don't know.
And yet, how are those ratings?
Let me
midnight
chime
in the East.
I don't want to interrupt you guys. I hate doing that, but like, it was on NBC SN. If you can't make time out, I understand if you want it to be on noon prime time on a major network. But, NBC SN, they could make room. You have they did make room. They had the game at 9 p.m. To me, it's just so
9 p.m.
stupid.
local. Eastern, it was midnight.
Sure. But, as someone who lives in a place that's very sunny and has a high elevation, you have to be out of your mind to think that ice won't melt with that, with no cloud cover. It just makes no sense.
And you know what? The great thing is the forecasts are never wrong. They were forecasting it to be cloudy. Well,
Mac,
it's too bad.
It's not weather. It's not about whether it was sunny or. It's you don't put yourself in a position to take a chance like this based on clouds.
Did you see the players stumbling around the ice? Like what? I mean, I can't believe the players' safety sitting there saying like, we got to shut this down really fast.
They were smart enough to at least give it enough time. I even questioned whether 6 hours was enough, and I think they came back 9 p.m. local time, and they were able to build it back up. But I even questioned that. But thank goodness nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
So, like, you keep they're just one-offs, I guess. Mac, you're okay with these moving forward, but you're not going to have any more unless you can pack in 70,000 fans. There's no reason to have any more.
Look, I've said this in the past, and I don't want to repeat myself for the sake of people thinking I'm old. I don't want to go to indoor games, let alone an outdoor game.
Stop it. The only way I see this moving forward is if you can put scenarios where there's real potential growth for the game, and I'm not talking about local economies in Lake Tahoe or Lake Louise, or I'm talking about you got to start thinking about a global push here. Can you create an outdoor game outside the Taj Mahal? Can in
Dubai? In Dubai,
there's 300 million hockey players in India, albeit field hockey. But I mean, it's a start. If you want to start tapping into places like that and selling the game with an outdoor game, I'm okay with that. I'd love to. Love to challenge that potential, but there's just nothing else here.
I guess it was a little bit because of all the problems where the players haven't had fans. There hasn't been fans in the building. This was just a way to change it up a little bit, I guess. I don't know of any other way to say it. But anyway, look.
Well, they got some star power out of the game. Great watching Nathan McKinnon come down on Pietrangelo on the one-on-one and listening to Alex basically shit his pants while he saw McKinnon coming down. And then
when he couldn't do a crossover because of the ice.
That's right. And then there's your buddy the Postamon.
Postamon
with his hat trick for the Boston Bruins.
Yeah.
Star power at least was at the forefront.
Yeah.
In both these games.
Hey, look, the second game, made it sort of okay. We got through this. Let's get the hell out of Lake Tahoe and let's get back to the rinks with no crowds in them. It's at least they don't have ice issues.
Well,
I don't know what to say about it. I just don't know what to say.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It is, and I get the value, and I get every team's loving to have one. I get it.
It's a break for the players. It's a break for the players.
It's great for teams.
But what is it
and
good for?
Their local sponsors and the season ticket holders. Like there's value in them, but there's no real growth there other than maybe lining your pockets up for one day. And it's limited.
The downside is when you have to cancel a game after the first period, that is everybody's worst nightmare at the NHL office. Let's not kid ourselves. Yeah. Come on. When that has to happen, that is really not. I mean, we've had games where the ice has been horrendous. We went to an outdoor game in the rain in Pittsburgh, if you recall. Do you remember that one in the rain?
Well, that was Sid's.
When Sid got his concussion. We were there in the rain for that one.
Who clipped him? Steckel? I can't remember.
Yeah, Steckel. Yeah, it was Steckel.
That was that one cost Sid getting to 1,000 games.
Yes,
a little later.
Isn't that exciting? Sid's 1,000 game. I was blown away. The only player in Pittsburgh Penguin history to reach 1,000 games. Great story. I loved his parents on TV.
Yeah,
his mom Brian. I loved him.
You would have automatically thought Mario and Yager.
Right. For sure. But anyway, first player to reach 1,000. And I love what they did. The players came up with that little gimmick of tying his skate on the ice in the warm-up, all with the 87s on. I thought it was great.
I thought
they did a great job. That's the Brian Burke and Hextall influence. They haven't made any trades yet, but they did that, which was it's a nice start to their careers in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Let's give the players a little bit more credit than that, please.
I would say Berkey today will be saying it was his idea.
Yeah. And
I noticed that video scouting he started. Somebody told me that recently that Berkey started video scouting. Yeah. I didn't know that. You learn something new every day,
I loved also Sid's reaction to it and absorbing it and having fun with it. And, you don't always see that side of Sid because he's so guarded in so many ways, but he really appreciated, I think, the players, the gifts. Besides the gifts, the guy can buy anything he wants, but just you can tell he really, really soaked it in, and he's starting to feel, I think, should I say it, older?
Sid is special, man. You know what? A great friend of mine, Alan Andrews, had him at his hockey school from the time he was 8 or 9 years of age. Sid, I was just talking to Alan last week. And Sid ended up at his high school being a demonstrator. And at the end of the day, they've sort of stayed in touch a little bit. Alan receives a couple of weeks ago a framed picture of Sid's demonstrator jersey he wore at the hockey school, thanking Alan for everything he did for him in his career, starting at his. And I thought, what superstar thinks to do that to a hockey school guy from PEI? I thought it was rude, but that's everything I've ever heard about Sid Crosby, so that's pretty cool.
You know who I felt sorry for is Travis Zajac, who also hit 1,000 this week. And
who? Who?
Or nobody gave a shit. And 1,000 games.
But we do. Congratulations, Travis.
It's so hard to hit 1,000 games.
Oh my God!
I'm like, I ran out of gas at like 450, and here these guys are closing in on 1,000, and Travis Zajac is a good hockey player, Mac. You don't last 1,000 games without being a very, very good hockey player.
Right.
But, I think it's also an example too of sometimes, and we'll get into Pierre-Luc Dubois, but, I think Travis Zajac is a prime example of a guy who sometimes, has to make decisions, hard decisions. Pierre-Luc Dubois put his neck on the line because he didn't want to stay in Columbus. And I watched Travis Zajac in Jersey, and, you celebrate 1,000 games, but what you don't really celebrate with Travis Zajac is the 5 playoff games in the last 9 or 10 years.
I know.
And, there's a comfort zone, and Travis Zajac, I think, signed an 8-year contract, and he's got, like Sid, he's got money. He'll never have to worry again. But, he also is a guy that not too many people remember when he'll retire,
Yeah.
And that's where a guy like Pierre-Luc Dubois says, no, I don't want to spend my next 10 years in Columbus and be maybe the next Travis Zajac, just kind of get lost and not do anything overly memorable. So, that's where, you got to give at least Pierre-Luc Dubois a little bit of credit to say, maybe I want to go into a stronger hockey market, somewhere that they care a little bit more, somewhere where they'll hold you more accountable than people in New Jersey or Columbus. I don't know the reason, but Pierre-Luc Dubois didn't want to play 5 or 7 playoff games in the majority of his career.
Well, and now, this trade is a real frustration, in my opinion, for the Blue Jackets, because what you've got here is Dubois finally gets it going. He has a 2-goal, 1-assist night. They put him with Wheeler and Scheifele, get him going. He scores the overtime winner. You think back to Columbus all summer long, they were concerned about the potential of an offer sheet. Obviously, there was some threats of an offer sheet coming. They were concerned about it. What do the Blue Jackets do? They get rid of Murray on their blue line in a soft trade to New Jersey. They get rid of Nudavari, who signs in Florida. They have to clear up cap space to protect themselves in case of an offer sheet. And all of a sudden now, with some injuries on their back end, it's really hurting the Blue Jackets and the backup goalie. So all of a sudden, their depth on the back end has disappeared. And so the trade has had other consequences as well. Line A the other night doesn't get a shot on goal. He's been real good for them in Columbus.
But he's got to produce points, or else it's doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you see. He's got to look. Liney's got to score.
We said it at the time of the deal that the biggest concern was what center iceman is going to get him the puck. And with all due respect to Texier, who's a great young player,
Roslovic has cooled off a little bit too.
Roslovic has cooled off. So all of a sudden, thin down the middle affects Line A's production. And, he's going to get his power play points, but that's a concern. So I feel for the Blue Jackets right now. Made me think of a story when you're going on there. I'll never forget when they honored Ken Hitchcock. I think it was his 500th win. I think Hitchcock thought it was 1,000th win, but I think it was his 500th. And John P. McConnell comes on the ice. Detroit were playing there that night, and I was watching TV. And John P., the owner's son, come on the ice. He was a good guy, John P. I always kind of liked him to a degree. Anyway, he comes on the ice, and he starts off the thing to honor Hitchcock, and he said, "I'd like to welcome the Detroit Blue Devils here today to play in Ken Hitchcock's first game." He was thinking of the Kentucky Blue Devils, I think it was. But anyway, it was the Detroit Red Wings he introduced as the Blue Devils. So just a little. Anyway, it was Hitchcock's 500th career. I think it was his win. They lost 9-0 in the game. So
which McConnell fired you?
The father, not the son.
Oh,
yeah.
That must have been hard for him to do that because you were like the adopted son who put this whole thing together.
The funny thing is I remember the day before I went to this meeting, JP phoned me and said, "Hey, the meeting's going to go fine. You're safe. There's no issue," because there was some media talk about the time. "You're going to be fine. You're going to be safe." And I said, "Okay, JP, I appreciate that." So I walk into the meeting and JP is not there. And I said to the guys, "Where's JP?" They said, "Oh, he's on vacation in Mexico." I haven't talked to him since.
That's the way it works, man, in pro sports.
That's the way it works. Hey, suck it up, man. It's life.
Well, I think if you're the Winnipeg Jets, that's what you envisioned when you got Pierre-Luc Dubois, a big power guy. And I think on his game-winning goal, he went up against Brock Besser, which,
unfair.
Yeah, a little unfair, but it's still a hell of a power move by a big guy. And, he can do that against real defensemen. It doesn't just have to be Brock Besser here because we saw it against the Leafs in that opening qualifying round in the bubble last season. But Mac, I watched the Montreal Canadiens, and we'll get into the Canadiens a little bit here moving forward. And when I saw him light it up again on the game-winning goal, the first thing I said to myself was, does Marc Bergevin in Montreal maybe regret or will he regret? I like Suzuki could be still a great player. He could be the next Patrice Bergeron, potentially. I mean, he's that smart. He's got a great stick. But what he'll never be, Mac, never be is 6'3" and 225 pounds.
No, he won't be that.
And
I can guarantee he won't be that.
And it's just as you have alluded over your career, you can spend 10 years and never find that guy.
Oh, you can go a long time. I mean, I tried for 10 years. I blew it on the Kopitar. I was the only guy that missed on Kopitar, according to the Columbus media, but there was 10 other teams passed on him as well in that draft. But you know what? They don't come along very often, let me tell you.
So what about 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe a little longer, we were talking about the Montreal Canadiens being a real player in this league. They just seem to have everything going, Mac. The scoring was there. The shutdown blue line was there. And, the one thing that we said all along was that, they're kind of doing it. And Carey Price hasn't even got out of second gear yet. And here we are on the weekend. They lose to Toronto. They lose to Ottawa in overtime, which, oh my God, that was just a horrific overtime. Great for Ottawa. Ottawa looked like every bit, hard-nosed, fighting for your space. And they just absolutely steamrolled Montreal in that overtime. And there's no way you could even look at Jake Allen and say, Jake saved 3 or 4 times in that overtime before, finally Tkachuk scored. But is this really the same team 4 weeks ago?
Well, they need a wake-up call big time. I mean, I don't like, obviously we were very excited. We had picked them for second place. All of a sudden, the team we had ripped is Edmonton. All of a sudden, they're in second place, and Montreal is slipping. I don't know what's happened to them, but they better figure it out. When Corey Perry's your best forward, you got some challenges. Yeah. And I mean, it was great to see Corey at 37 or whatever he is score that goal last night. But that's embarrassing the way they've been playing lately. So they've got to figure it out. Julian, with 18 years experience as a head coach in the NHL.
There's some heat on him, believe it or not. Like, they get off to this great start. And
I guess there's heat on him. Babcock just took a job at the University of Saskatchewan. Come on. Yeah, there's heat on him.
We'll touch on that. But, Mac, I'm watching even Carey Price on the weekend, and I start listening to a lot of radio or reading a lot, and so much is for good reason on Auston Matthews, and he does have a great shot, but that second goal, short side that Matthews scored on Carey Price, was not on his great shot. That's on Carey Price. At $10 million, Carey, you can't let that go in clean.
Exactly. I mean, look, Auston Matthews' first goal, the one-timer that was unstoppable. But I mean, come on. I didn't like the second one, and I guess it was a perfect shot, but still.
I don't know.
That was a bad. I'm classifying that as a bad goal.
Yeah.
But look, there's more issues than Carey Price with this hockey team. He's got to get them out of this at that price. He's got to be a lot better. But their whole group, there's something, they've lost a little of their mojo here.
Yeah.
Is it because the North, as you and Alan May so eloquently said, the Canadian division sucks, basically, is what you guys said.
We didn't quite say it sucks.
You might have been a little hard on the Canadian division.
What
do you expect? May thinks that the only division is the Capitals division, and they're the only team in the league. So you got to expect that out of May, but I thought it was pretty weak.
We spoke of 80s style defense, 1980s style defense in the North. But, Mac, when you got Marner and Matthews coming at you time and time again, and then
especially on the power play,
even Tavares has slowed down. There's no question that he just, doesn't seem to have that same gumption that he's had in the past, and maybe he'll pick it up. We'll see, but it's still way too much to overcome, especially when you look at Suzuki and Kotkaniemi and Phillip Danault. Phillip Danault
being your best players.
Phillip Danault, some are suggesting that he turned down over $5 million on a 5-year deal.
No wonder he's sick.
I don't know if he'll ever get that money back.
What did Duclair turn down in Ottawa? Anthony Duclair, wasn't it 3.5 or something?
3.5.
And Draisaitl and Dzingel. You better be careful when you're turning stuff down. By the way, Toronto get a big win without Nylander, but I saw a great article on the weekend of Nylander at a dog park with his dog, and how great it was. This fan wrote in how nice a guy he was. They had pictures taken with each other's dogs, and it was a really nice story.
Why are you busting on that? What's the big deal? It's
because that's media. My life right now. That's my life, taking a dog for a walk.
So you're just jealous. Just jealous.
I'm jealous.
Mac, Nylander will never, ever piss anybody off on the ice. Never has.
He will.
Never will.
No, he will.
That's just his game.
He will piss off people in the game.
Yes.
He will. His coach.
Yes.
His coach.
Yeah.
He will piss him off.
And a few that want more out of him. But the problem is when the puck's finding him, or it's rolling, he has star qualities about him.
He's a talent.
Can shoot the puck. He's a type of guy. He should be Panarin, or a Panarin type, or a Pasternak type.
But he's not.
He should be a poor man's Pasternak.
Yeah, he should be. And when he's going, he is. When he's
going,
those
guys have edge.
No, he's not going.
Pasternak has gumption. He's got jam. He's got game. That guy.
You want to believe it.
And Nylander doesn't. And I think it's starting to drive Sheldon Keefe nuts. But that's the guy that you signed.
Yeah. It's going to be, the question will be is how long does this go, and where does it end up going? It's always been well documented by all kinds of hockey people that he would be the guy ultimately moved out of the big four to bring in the defenseman that they need. Well, we'll wait to see if that happens. But right now, the Leafs are hitting on all cylinders except his. But they're playing extremely well, and Matthews and Marner are an absolute treat to watch. Absolute treat to watch the way these two guys are performing. It really is, especially on the power play.
What do you make of this?
Matthews is a complete player. I watched a clip that Kelly did, the analytics Kelly did on the video, which isn't really analytics. It's just common sense hockey to me when I see his stuff, and I like it, on how good Matthews is in both ends of the rink, and that's been well documented. But the guy does a really nice job of putting pieces together to show the elements of players' games that he's talking about. I like it.
He is, if he doesn't have 4 great quality chances a game, something's wrong.
Nick.
Therefore, you base that percentage, Mac, he's going to score 1 out of 4. He is now in that kind of Brett Hall, Yari Curry, goal a game. If he goes 1 game without a goal, he'll get 2 the next.
Your 50, your piece on Friday, your 50 and 50 piece for him, to me was golden. But I think he may ellipse. I think he may beat that for fun. I really do. I mean, he's capable. This guy might get 60.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, it was real interesting. I didn't listen to your guys' take on it. I just read the headline. I was busy, but I guess I hopefully when I go down to the beach this afternoon, I'll have some time and I can look it up and check it out.
Are you hearing like these reports now that Leafs are interested in Granlund?
No, I'm not.
Okay, well, it's out there.
I hope they're not.
I'm like, do you need another 5'10" player?
Don't tell me that unless they're trading Kerfoot for him.
Yeah, that's they want another winger, and I'm just only bringing this up because it does have.
Did I see that Joe Thornton?
Nylander.
Did I see something that Joe Thornton didn't skate this morning? Was there something going on? And Muzzin, by the way, has a fractured bone in his face or something.
Muzzin can't stay healthy.
Well, he's a battler out there. He'll play reckless to make plays, and I kind of like him because of that.
But he does get hurt, Mac.
Right, and they can't afford that pair. He and Hall have been good.
We actually have an update from TSN Edge. It's looking like Joe Thornton, Zach Hyman, and Jake Muzzin will be sidelined for Toronto against the Flames tonight.
Wow.
Well,
that's
I don't know.
For the Flames, they might be able to win a game.
With Joe, Mac, I got to think that there was some sort of strategy about trying to keep him relatively healthy.
Yeah.
Throughout the league. I hope this is more maintenance than it is anything else because, he has gotten off to a better start than I ever envisioned. But come on, you're playing with 2 of the best players in the world at a very high level right now.
I mean, I think it's a big part of it is, there was major concern. Could Joe get up and down the ice? Could he, there was always everybody knew that he could create in the offensive zone because he's such a great passer and he's got a brilliant mind for the game. The question was, could he get there? He has certainly done that. How much does it have to do with playing with these 2 guys?
Yeah.
I suspect if he is with Vasey and Kerfoot, he wouldn't be doing as well. But I think it's smart that they put him there. So credit to the coaching staff for putting him with these 2 guys. Health will be an issue. I hope it's nothing serious. I hope it's rest, but I'm not sure that after being out for 3 weeks, he needs more rest. I would think it's something more than that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd give him more rest. I would. But
it's not
the rest. It's not the rest, Mac.
It's the mental rest.
It's the wear and tear. Okay. Yeah. It's like an onion. You just keep peeling it off.
The one thing we don't do on this show is speculate.
That's all we do. That's all we do. Okay, let's speculate in Nashville because I brought up Granlund. That was a weird signing, him going back there because
oh my God, for that money.
It was all he didn't ever want to go back to Nashville. That's the last place he wanted to go, but Nashville's the only one that offered him money of that magnitude to re-sign. And now I'm sure he'd love to get back out of there. David Poile, a guy that we've known from day one with the Washington Capitals, me and you both. I got to wonder, Mac, where is the exit strategy for David Poile? Is it to move up into a presidency role? Is it to stay where he is? Or is his job in jeopardy here because they had their window and it's gone?
They're calling for his head in Nashville. David's bothered by it. He's been a lifer. He's been there since day one of the franchise. He was in Washington a long time. I worked for him for a few years. I like David. He's worried. His son there, Brian, obviously the plan would have been, the succession plan obviously would be for Brian Poile to take over as GM. But I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, when they put out an edict on the weekend that everybody's available on their roster except for Ellis and Yossi and Pecorine because they want him to retire there.
Who cares? Who cares if he retires there or not? That's not
exactly.
Those days are over. Okay,
Pecorine. He's not Terry Zajac, for Christ's sake. Give me a break.
And there might be some biters out there that could nibble on some backup goaltending. You know?
Exactly. But they're trying to change some things there. Look, I'm telling you, Duchesne has been a disaster there. Johansson has been a disaster there for
Seth Jones.
And the Duchesne one has been a disaster. I mean, Duchesne's name was mentioned in Colorado forever to get him out of there. Then he goes to Ottawa. Then he goes to Columbus. I mean, David has been infatuated with this guy forever. And it has not worked out. I mean, he was lucky to get rid of Turris. So, I mean, it hasn't gone well there for a few years. Coaching changes, player turnover, big trades that haven't worked out. And, David, he's had an unbelievable career, David Poile.
Unbelievable.
He's been there forever. So
and he came close.
I like him.
Horseshoes and hand grenades. Close does not mean a Stanley Cup. So
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what direction that ownership goes. There are some decent pieces, Mac. I mean, Forsberg, Arvidsson. I mean, they'll be in demand. Those players, will they not? That you could.
Did I ever tell you this? Did I ever tell you the story that, just quickly? Sorry to interrupt you there. I know it's your show, but I remember
it's never stopped you before.
We won a game in New Jersey, and we were busing back to Washington. And I was assistant coach, and David called me off the bus, and he said, "There's no beer in the bus after this win. We got this 3-hour drive home." And I looked at him. I said, "I didn't know it was in my job description. I was supposed to have beer on the bus after games. There had never been beer on the bus ever.
Never.
Beer on the bus.
I was on that bus. I would have known."
And I got shit for not having beer on the bus. And I thought, "Are you kidding?"
The bus. I think we pulled the bus over.
Give me shit because the penalty killing's no good, but don't give me shit because there's no damn beer on the bus. If I would have had beer on the bus, he would have fired me for having beer on the bus.
I think we pulled over that day on the way back.
Oh, yeah. And I must have went in and got it, did I? With use my credit card again. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Well, we'll see how that.
To throw that little tidbit of story in there,
We'll see how that plays out.
That's what May can't bring. May hasn't got the stories. He's good, but he hasn't got the stories, eh?
Oh, he has the stories. Trust me.
I know he does.
A little better than your beer story. Mac, we talked a little bit about Buffalo and the challenges there, and the Eichels resurfacing.
You said it
about Eichel are resurfacing, and I said, "Yeah, go ahead."
You said it last summer. Eichel to the Rangers, and people thought you were crazy. And all of a sudden, Eichel to the Rangers. So,
and there's a link. Zibanejad is not picked up where he left off, and he was almost like he was as much of an untouchable as anybody in that organization.
Played well there, Zibanejad.
And it just doesn't seem to be going for him. You know, would the Rangers and Buffalo revisit that? I don't know, but where there's smoke, there's fire.
How can the Sabres move him? I mean, they got the Taylor Hall debacle going on there now with what's he got? How many goals has Taylor Hall got?
I want to say 2. Maybe we can get Jordan to look. I'll look. But Mac,
looking.
I think there's 3 goals or 4 goals between him, Skinner, and Skinner's got none.
I know. Like yeah, I know.
So that's
frightening.
Is that not? I don't know, almost $30 million between the 3 of them.
Yeah, something's got to give in Buffalo. Something has got to give.
Does he have 1 goal? Is that possible? That's what Hockey Reference is saying
yes.
right now.
Taylor Hall might have 1 goal.
Yeah,
1 goal. And 8 assists, 9 points, 10 points.
Yeah, I think 14 games played, 1 goal, 9 assists, 10 points.
Yeah. Wow, so Mac, it's just no one saw that coming. Now I'd said at the beginning of the year that like Taylor Hall has to make this work even for a short period of time, but you don't necessarily want to be the guy that's played on. You don't want to end up being like a Galchenyuk and playing on half a dozen teams in 2 years, 3 years.
No.
So
no, and I mean him signing that 1-year deal was a head scratcher. Like people couldn't believe that. I mean,
$8 million.
I know.
The whole idea was to score 25 or 30 goals with Eichel and then put yourself in a position to sign for $8 or $9 million times 7.
No, exactly.
But
not
happening right now.
No. So Eichel is the big question. I know we're running out of time here, and it's your show, but we got to talk Calgary Flames.
Yeah,
here.
I was going to get to Calgary.
Okay, you do what you want to do. I'm just sort of keeping you on line here.
Well, again, you can kind of speak to the pressures of being a president or general manager. We're watching Brad Treliving go on radio before the weekend and talk really about how he's not seeing enough out of the players and accountability and your standard calling out, Mac, of your team, of your leadership group, and yet they don't respond. Edmonton goes in there and humiliates them. I
mean, I caught the Treliving interview. I don't know why. I was just flipping through and I see this interview and I happened to listen to it and it was 28 minutes long. And I'm thinking, first of all, what the hell are you going on for 28 minutes for? He could have said the same thing in 8 minutes because he continually repeated himself. And I thought, this is a big game tonight. We got to show up. We got to play the right way. It was cliche after cliche after cliche. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what are we going to see for a performance night? They were god awful is what they were. Kachuk has to come out and say, I got to do, I got to do more. I got to lead this team. I got to do this. And this was a debacle, this game. Markstrom, who has stood on his head for this team. I mean, I didn't have them in the playoffs. You did because of Markstrom and Tanev. Great pickups. And I had them right there. But, Nick, this is a disaster right now with what is going on with this hockey team. And they got to be a lot better than this. Why?
Johnny Hockey Gaudreau's got 8 goals, I think, a point a game. So, but it's just when you need him most to kind of shine, Mac, he's still not a guy that you can trust.
So you're suggesting it's the core group, it's leadership, it's Giordano was dropped, dropped off.
You got to go to your best players, and I know Monahan was out on the weekend, but a couple of goals in 16 games. It's not. Just look at what Crosby, McKinnon, Matthews, Marner, your stars have to be your stars.
Totally.
They have to lead the charge. To me, that's still Gaudreau and Monahan up front. Lindholm's a great player, and he's turned into being real good since they got him from Carolina. But Monahan and Gaudreau have to lead. They've never been able to do that from day one since they've committed big contracts.
And I don't know if they ever will be the guys to lead them. I don't know that. That's going to be something to watch, because leadership has severely been questioned by this team. You made the comment last year, post playoffs, that they had to trade one of Monahan, Gaudreau, or both of them and change the chemistry. There was an outcry that one of them could be traded. Tree Living has had how many coaches since he's been there? I mean, Ward is the latest. I mean, we know Hartley's been there. We know, there's been numerous coaches. What is going to give with the Calgary Flames here? Because the expectations are not to be pounded by the Edmonton Oilers 7-1. Not after getting Markstrom on a 6-year, 8-year deal, or whatever it is, 7-year deal, and Tanev and company, and sticking with your core. These expectations are a lot higher than this.
We saw Vancouver's ownership group come out with a vote of confidence to Benning and Travis Green. Would something like this help Tree Living and Ward in Calgary? Would you think that would have value right now? Because I got the sense, Mac, from listening as well to Tree Living, that there's some real concern, and it could naturally come from job security. So would that help?
Well, like Ward goes in as an interim head coach, and they watch him on a regular basis, and then they make a commitment on a new contract to him. That to me, I mean, is that what they're going to do? They're going to make a coaching change? I don't. To me, that's the easy way out. I'm sorry, it's the easy way out. And I know there's some players chirping. I get all that. But to me, that's the easy way out. And if it happens, maybe, but that's not going to solve the problems in Calgary, in my opinion. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well,
and I mean, their ownership,
a different world now in a pandemic, and we know there's got to be a financial commitment from ownership group. There doesn't seem to be an appetite, Mac, for many teams to go down that avenue.
Their ownership group are not typically a group that come out and talk in Calgary, are they? They no. Really don't. I mean, they're not that group. I mean, Aquilini comes out and supports his management people, but I've never ever seen that in Calgary from their owners. So we'll see what happens.
Calgary goes from McDavid to Matthews. That's doesn't get easier.
No, it doesn't. It sure
doesn't get easy. And we got how many games? 3, 6, 8, 8 games tonight, including Calgary and Toronto, Tampa, Carolina.
When do I get a night off from these games? Like, seriously.
We're not allowed. We're just not allowed.
Okay, I'll keep grinding.
All right. So did we beat Alan May's record for likes on the show today, Jordan?
Well, I just, I feel bad lying to Doug. I don't think there was a record on Friday, man. I know we're supposed to say yes all the time on stuff here, but I think we might have gotten it. We might have got it if he told the Mario Lemieux story. Doug, I don't know if you caught that, but Alan was saying that he has an embarrassing photo of Mr. Lemieux from an alumni game, and he's keeping it close to the vest. We were trying to pry it out of him, though.
What the hell? Yeah, okay, it wouldn't be an all-star game with Alan May. It'd have to be an alumni game.
Yeah, of course.
I've been to all-star games. I haven't been to alumni games, but I've been to all-star. I was doing an alumni game with the Panthers. That's right. Okay.
Oh, gosh. Show us your tomato stain on your T-shirt.
Has it looked
Did it dry?
You know what? It's dried up now, but now it's gone to the color of the tomato. So I got to get that off. Jeez,
it's a nice shirt too. People like it.
Normally, I would have that off and with the spray and wash, but
no free ads, Doug. No free ads.
You're
I know.
And I keep getting asked, like, what's in your cup? Like, what's the tropical drink?
And this?
I hope it's a little Buddha. That's what I hope.
No, it would be, but I because I'm so focused on this show, it's water.
Oh, it's water.
I've got to keep hydrated.
You're too healthy.
Oh my God, I was so Nick. My golf game yesterday.
Oh,
I lost 10 strokes yesterday. I was in 6 traps, and it took me 2 to get out of every trap. Like, what the hell happened to me? 2 to get out of every trap. I lost 10 strokes, 12 strokes.
Pros would rather play out of the trap than
exactly.
I know
out of the rough.
Up and downs are automatic out of the trap
I know.
For these guys.
I mean, it was embarrassing. I woke up at 3:00 this morning, thinking about my trap game. I don't know what the hell. I was
you were on a roll there for a while, and then you got hurt with your elbow, and then your COVID shot made you lightheaded.
I know. It's been not good. This show is making me lightheaded today.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to mention this too as well, Mac. We started the top of the show with talking about the Panarin situation and NHL security. A dear friend of ours, Jimmy Wiseman, lost his battle to a degenerative brain disease last week. Yes. Jimmy Wiseman was a security NHL security for the Washington Capitals when Doug and I and Alan May were there. This guy, I can't tell you the countless times that he got us out of trouble. And thank goodness for no social media or phones, or else we would have probably been embarrassed, as many have been over the last few years. But Jimmy was a heart and soul type of guy. We send our deepest condolences to his family. And just wanted to get that shout out, Mac, to Jimmy Wiseman and his family.
And Jimmy, what struck me when I first got to Washington was Jimmy Wiseman was from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia.
Yes. Yep.
That's where he was from. And I thought, how the hell did you end up in Washington, D.C. from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia? Yeah. Which, by the way, I wore this hat today, Cape Breton, for the cliff or the links of Crowbush, which is in Cape Breton in memory of Jimmy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Jimmy was an NHL official. He worked the penalty box. He's a lot of these guys are ex-coppers, detectives, man, oh man, he took us.
He was a good man.
He took such a liking to Ally Afraidy as well, and probably got Ally Afraidy out of more trouble than all of us combined. But he was a dear friend, and
yes, he was.
We're gonna miss him. So, yeah. Jimmy Wiseman. On that note, Mac, thanks for doing this.
Thanks, man. That was fun.
I think we got your likes up to 40 today.
116.
116 for you, Mac. That sucks.
Okay.
You're better than that, Mac.
Actually, 115, not 116. Because
I shout out to hit the like button for Mac.
One of the likes were my own.
Get Jill to keep hitting the button during our show.
I guarantee you, Clark McLean did. I mean, he's right there.
Shout out Clark and ASM Hockey, doing great.
Yeah. Anyway,
there you go.
Okay.
Enjoy the games tonight. What's pickleball? Beach?
No. I'm actually daughter Mackenzie. I've got to pick her up in West Palm this afternoon. She's coming down for a week to work here. She's coming down from Cincinnati, and she's working in Florida for a week. So I got to pick her up at the airport this afternoon.
Oh, you're a busy guy.
I don't know if she's going to like the line. I'm not sure. Mackenzie's not sold on the lava orange Porsche.
It'll grow on her.
She'll be rolling her eyes when I pick her up.
It'll grow on her. Doug Maclean out of Florida, everybody. All right, Jordan, thanks a lot for today. All of you for watching. First time watcher, hit the subscribe button, and we'll keep you posted on all the latest here on the Real Kyper at Noon show. Leave your comments. Spotify. What else we got? Google. Jordan, a lot of ways to follow Real Kyper at Noon. So thanks for joining us, everybody. Enjoy the games tonight.